Welcome to the Ad Tech Forum. We're kicking off our first seasonal event called Everyone Can. Today is day 3 of Everyone Can, where our goal is to keep you educated, in the know, and entertained, regardless of your location. Day 4 sponsors Tatari. With us today, we have Andy Schonfeld.
Andy Schonfeld is the CRO at Tatari and boasts 19 years in ad tech. He drives revenue, new business, and partnerships. Previously at Liquid, he grew revenue to $90 million, leading to acquisition by Nexstar Media Group. At Adapt TV, he built demand-side programmatic video business with major brands. Tatari, a leader in the convergent TV advertising space, supports brands like Manscaped, Athletic Greens, and Chime with a 300-strong team. Recently awarded Most Innovative TV Ad Platform by Ad Exchanger and Best Connected TV Ad Platform by Digiday, Tatari leads in advertising innovation. Andy, welcome to the Ad Tech Forum.
Thank you, ATG. Great to be in the presence of greatness. Thank you, Jeremy. It's great to see you again. Obviously thrilled to be here. Thanks for having me on. Excited to, just open up the box a little bit on Tatari. I must say congrats to both of you guys on the recent news with Ari and Marketecture. It's awesome to see. So congrats.
Thank you, Andy. Well, we're so excited for you to be here. First and foremost, why don't we take a step back? Why don't you tell us a little bit about your role at Tatari and just about the company itself?
Absolutely. So I'll start with the company first and then kind of get into my role there as well. So the company is about 7 years old. We work with about 300 brands today and about 30 agencies. And primarily those agencies or brands are leveraging Tatari and thinking about outcome-based television. When we think about outcome-based television, we think about convergent TV at Tatari. So that's linear, streaming, as well as online video. And that's also in different ways. It's direct, it's programmatic, as well as other means like ad serving and things of that nature. The company, what people don't know about Tatari is it's actually part of a larger entity called Infra. Under Infra, you actually have 3 different lines of business. And in the future, we aspire to have even more. We have Tatari, which is what we're known for and what everybody knows as a convergent TV platform. We also acquired an SSP and ad server about 2 years ago called The Viewpoint. You'll hear me reference it as TVP, so we call it internally. But they were a native CTV only ad server and SSP, small company that we acquired mostly for the technology. They still operate a standalone DSP programmatic business and obviously ad server and SSP for direct CTV publishers. And we'll continue to operate that. But the other piece is we actually acquired that technology to get closer to supply, particularly for our programmatic business, right? So everything Tatari's done has been rooted in direct path because it's performance-based. So if you think about linear, we're working directly with the networks. You think about streaming, direct, right? So how do we do that in programmatic? We acquire an SSP, we own that technology, and we get much closer to the direct publishers and the supply. That allows us then to remove technology tax, right? And thereby create more efficiency and performance for the brands or agencies that use our platform. So that's kind of the basis of Tatari. Hopefully that makes sense. And then I'll jump into myself. So my role obviously is the CRO. Absolutely. So my role is the CRO at the company. I oversee strategic sales, partnerships, and programmatic. I run a team about 100 plus now. And the reality is, I'm involved in every piece of the business. It's new business pitches. It's working with agencies. It's also fostering and growing our strategic brand and agency relationship and use of the platform.
That's amazing, Andy. So first and foremost, thank you for walking us through the offering of Tatari. Second, thanks for telling us a bit more about your role, your team's vision, how you guys are dividing and conquering. While you're at Cannes and while this is being aired to our fans and followers across the globe, tell us a bit more about what the takeaways that partners, brands, and agencies should be remembering while you're at Cannes.
Absolutely. So obviously we're there to make new connections and foster and strengthen existing ones with our agency partners, our brand partners, and our publisher side, right? We work with publishers in many different ways. So depending on who we're talking to, right, there'll be kind of different takeaways. But I think the major theme is, one, how far Tatari has come with its technology, right, in the last 7 years. And now we have a truly convergent television platform that focuses on outcomes, right? And I think whether you're a brand, you're an agency, or a publisher, you ought to be thinking about that. Ultimately, that's the way that our kind of ecosystem works. And the other thing is that TV has changed, right? I think we all know this, but it's not really about reach and frequency anymore, right? It's, am I actually driving a sale, right? Can I actually compare this to my other digital channels like Facebook and search and social? And so I think that's a huge takeaway that we'll be thinking about as we move into Cannes and beyond. It's not huge deviation from what we've been doing. But I think that message is starting to resonate a bit more across the industry, particularly as you're seeing, right, disruptions with the upfronts and things of that nature. So we're excited to kind of see what happens this year in Cannes.
You know, you talk about outcomes, you talk about results and how brands are looking for those results. And we've gone beyond, reach and frequency. Can you dive in a little bit more of what that looks like for brands and how they track those results, what those typical types of reporting metrics or proxy metrics are, like impressions or any other data that you're able to provide?
Yeah, absolutely. Tatari actually started out as a data and analytics company, focusing only on measurement. What people actually don't know is half the company is data science and engineer, right? I have 300 people, half the company. We actually just by kind of accident fell into the media side. So inherently, everything we do is baked on incremental measurement, right? Incrementality, a signal above the noise, whether it's linear streaming, programmatic, down to an outcome, right? And that outcome could be a sale, could be a visit, it could be an app install, it could be an in-store visit, or even an in-store purchase. It really depends on the brand, the type of client we're working with, maybe the agency. But I think gone are the days of like vanity metrics in TV. And I know some people are still talking about that. We'll continue talking about it for a while, right? But the reality to me is who cares about completion rates and viewability and whether I hit a specific audience and it doesn't work, right? And so Tatari's always led with performance. We can do the audience stuff, right? We can think about strategic planning against that. But at the end of the day, it's about, does it drive performance? Does it drive an outcome? And that's ultimately the way we position our platforms. Everything in our platform provides the ability to see those metrics. Next day basis, log into your platform, see linear, see streaming, see programmatic, understand how those things work together, and then make decisions and optimizations based on what the data is telling you.
What are some of the typical types of clients or agencies and brands that you would work with, and how should those agencies work with you, moving forward if they're listening to this?
Yeah, it's a great question. So first of all, on the brand side, generally it's like we started out in the direct consumer business, right? Brands that are moving off of social and into TV, and they want to look at that as an apples to apples. Tatari has done obviously a phenomenal job there. We'll continue to grow that business. What we're now starting to see is an explosion of agencies pouring into the platform and the offering. And it's in many different ways. So some of them come to us and say, hey, I have no TV business at all. I am a digital first agency. I do social, I do creatives, I do podcasting. Wouldn't it be cool if I could also offer TV? So a lot of them are coming to us and saying like, hey, can we get on the platform? Can you train us? Can we understand how to actually have a new offering for our clients? And we love that as a technology first company. So we have lots of agencies coming to us and saying, we're going to expand our business. We want to work with Tatari. On the flip side, we have large independent agencies and even holding companies, and we'll be talking to a lot of those in Cannes. And it's a different story, right? Most of them have a pretty mature linear business, or they have a pretty mature programmatic CTV business where they're working with large DSPs, right? The trade desk. But generally what they're saying to us is, hey, I can't do all of these things in one place. And I want to be able to consolidate that. And I want to do it from a performance-based lens. And so we're seeing a lot of that happen where that consolidation, the need and understanding that how these channels work together is going to be influential on the future of their business is important to them. And so that's how we would generally work with a larger agency where we become a complement to what they do with other DSPs, or even potentially a replacement.
Andy, where's there too much noise in our industry? And how does Tatari help just get rid of the clutter and get rid of the noise?
How much time do we have on this podcast, Jeremy? So I'm one to believe that there's just way too much noise in the space. It's all good. I think obviously the trades like to cover things and talk about, what the latest topics are. But there's a lot of noise for sure. And I think that makes it harder and harder for folks to sort of sift through it. Tatari keeps it really simple, right? It's outcome, performance, television. We can do branding. We've had companies in the Super Bowl, but I think it starts with performance. I truly believe TV is a performance channel. Like, why shouldn't it be, right? It's the largest screen in the home. Not much different than social. You're just seeing it a larger real estate. And so to me, TV is performance. It's digital, whether it's linear streaming. And so I think there's a lot of noise right now around currencies, right? And how are we going to replace Nielsen? I don't think we have to, but that's my opinion. I think that brands and agencies should start thinking about outcome-based currencies. And I think if you start there, right, everything sort of opens up for you. So I would say that's one area. I think there's a lot of noise, and I think we can simplify that. The other, I don't know, we're still talking about SPO in CTV. I find that a little weird. I think that there's 20 or 30 publishers that matter in CTV. It's not display, right? It's not online video where there's thousands of publishers. So, we can talk about like lists, and you see people publishing lists and things of that nature. To me, it's work direct, right? Work direct and look at where things actually perform, and everything will lead from there. Again, at Tatari, linear, it's all direct. Streaming, it's all direct. Programmatic could be all direct, right? Like if you're working in open exchanges or with publishers you don't know, seems like a red flag. I don't think, again, there's that many publishers that matter in CTV. And so everybody should be thinking about working directly. SPO will not be a big issue.
Andy, it's been awesome having you with us, and we'd like to thank Tatari. Any final thoughts before we wrap? How do people get in touch with you?
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for having me on ATG. It's good to meet you, Jeremy. Great to see you again. I think final thoughts. We're excited for Cannes. Obviously, if you're there, say hello. If you're not there, hopefully you get something out of this. And reach us at tatari.tv or find me on LinkedIn or X and shoot me a message.
Andy, thank you so much for being here. And again, thank you, Tatari, for sponsoring day 3 of Everyone Can. We'll see you all here tomorrow.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.